Convo. Welcome back to Candid Conversations with Carmen. I'm your host, Carmen, and this is my side host,
Ashley,
and our wonderful producer,
T-Nugget.
And we're back with another episode of the final season. After how many months?
8 months.
We did take a brief, not so brief hiatus between, what was it, episode 7, 6, and now. And we're back. We're going to go into depth about why we were gone. Like those YouTube videos where people are like, we broke up and we just want to sit in front of the camera and tell you guys what happened. But we're not going to do that.
That's not what happened.
That is not. But honestly, we are going to talk about why we were gone. Maybe talk a little bit about just what we've been in process on and a lot of different things in a lot of areas of our lives. I think that the Lord has been so good during this time. It has been some ebbs and flows, some ups and downs, which is why we were out for quite some time. And I think honestly we were gonna come back in July. We'll talk about that. We had lined up some guests just to close out the season. That was impacted. We'll go into that. But I will kick it over to let T-Nugget ask, or should I? And then just...
I think T. Roy Price. Come on.
I can answer the first one, and then we can just all chime in. So, where have we been?
Here. Living life.
Well, let's start with why we left, because we were in February. The season's kicking off strong. We were doing really great. Yes. What stopped us? Because February was a rough month. Yeah. And what happened and where have we been, y'all? Let's just go straight into it.
Yeah.
Ashley, you want to start?
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. So in February, we were living our lives like normal. We got a call that our aunt had suddenly, unexpectedly passed away. And so we really were thrown off. I mean, that was just because we were supposed to record
that weekend.
And we had canceled the Sunday before. I said, we'll reschedule because Troy had a photo shoot or something that same weekend. Mm-hmm. And so we were like, okay, we're going to cancel the recording for this weekend, but we'll push it to the next week. We got a call. My other aunt called Troy and was like, I don't know what's going on. Something's going on with your aunt, my sister. And she was just like, I don't know what's going on. I'm about to get on the flight. I don't know. Just reach out, call their local contacts, see what's going on. I can't. My phone's going to have to be shut off in a couple minutes. Troy comes in, tells me, I'm like, I'm in denial. I'm like, no, that's not correct. So I call Ashley or text her.
You called me.
I call her.
And said that my aunt collapsed.
Which is what I thought. I mean, I'm telling you, I was like, oh, she's collapsed. We don't know what's going on. They're trying to resuscitate her or whatever. Completely wrong information. Ashley calls. She said, okay, I'm going to call and see what's going on. And I'm like, okay, good. I'll call my dad and reach out to him so he can be aware and he can, call my mom and all that stuff. And then I'm like, okay. So I call my dad. He's not answering because he has terrible service and his phone is jacked up. He refuses to upgrade. And so he didn't answer. And so then Ashley's calling and getting more research. So you can talk from your perspective. But I was just genuinely like, nah, that's...
Yeah, she calls me and she's like, yeah, she's collapsed. If you just call them to just get an update on where she is, what hospital and everything, where they're taking her and everything. So I'm like, okay, I'm a go get her. She's like, call her phone. You have her number, everything. So I call her number and the phone picks up like after the fourth ring or so. And it was like, hello. And the person who answered the phone's voice in that moment sounded a lot like my aunt. So I'm like, Aunt Cheryl, are you okay? I heard that you had passed out or whatever, and the lady is like, no.
Yes.
She's passed. And I was like, excuse me, what? I heard that she had collapsed and that the ambulance was there, and they were like, no, she's been gone for a long time, like overnight. So, and so it was then like, what are the next steps? We're getting the coroner to come out. And I know this can be graphic and it can be like triggering for some people if you've been through loss. But in that moment, the numbness that hits you, like we experienced the loss of my grandmother 2 years or 3 years before this, and about 2 years, 3 years before this, and that was really hard because she had been sick, but she was not. But I had that time with her and spend with her, so it was different. But this was like in the moment because we just thought, oh, she's collapsed. But then they were like, no, she's gone, and so that threw me for a loop, and I'm just broken down, and that day was like one of the worst days of my life because it wasn't just my aunt passing on that day. It was the people in my office telling me, oh, we can't allow you to proceed with interviewing for a job that you're fully qualified for because you were promoted not 4 months ago, and our policy states that you can't interview for a new job because you're on a probationary period. However, I never applied for the promotion. I never put in for the promotion. I went on a vacation. Trip, and when I came back, they were like, "Oh, you've been promoted. It's already pushed through in the system. You don't have to do anything. It's going to just show up on your paycheck." So I never did anything. So I'm sitting there. I'm blindsided by that. They called me in the office, and it's like crazy.
Yeah, you know what? I totally forgot because you had called me earlier that day.
Yes, because I was mad, and I was like, this is crazy. But it was so crazy, even in that, was that the Lord had prepared me to look at the policy. I didn't read it from a place of humility. I read it from a place of pride. So I was like, they can't stop me. Yeah. And I didn't read it fully, but I read it fully and understood it, but I didn't process it in the way that it should have been processed. But the Lord had already prepared me that this was going to come, so that even though I was angry in the moment, it kind of got superseded with the death of my aunt. So fast forward to past that incident, and then my aunt, I was then trying to get in contact with my mom because I didn't want her to spend the whole entire day without knowing. But she wasn't picking up her phone, and just like my dad, her reception at school and at work is terrible. So I was like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to leave work and I'm going to drive over to tell her in person because I can't reach her. So at that time, Carmen had gotten in contact with my dad. My dad had called the school had called her. And so she, as I was walking into the door to come and tell her, she was walking out of the front office. My daddy had told her, and it was like God had orchestrated that moment because as she was walking out, she just looked so lost, and they were like, "Miss Williams, we hope that everything is okay." And she was like, "It's not." She said, "My sister has transitioned," and she looked so lost. And she came over to me. She said, "Oh, Ashley," she said, "Thank you."
You're here.
She said, "Thank you so much for coming." Now, this is crazy because she's talking to me like I'm a stranger, but at the same time,
people say something at a funeral.
Yeah, it's
like, "Thank you for
coming.
Thank you
so much for coming." But then she just comes over and she lays her head on my chest and just sits there, and she's like, And she was like, she just laid there for a minute. And then she composed herself. And I was like, okay, you ready to go? And she was like, no, I have to get everything together for my students. I can't leave them in a lurch. She's like, I understand that. But she's like, I'm probably not going to be back for
at least a week.
at least a week now. So I don't want to leave them without anybody to take care of them and to make sure that they're okay. So she went back and she worked for the rest of
for a few more hours.
For a half day until about lunch, and they were able to get a sub to come in. But it was just really, that was also a blessing to me, because I also know that sometimes when you lose somebody, you want to work and you want to keep your mind occupied. But it was also her caring for her students that was saying that, hey, I'm going through one of the worst days of my life. I'm struggling to comprehend what's happening, but I'm still going to make sure that they're taken care of, that they are able to move forward, and that they don't feel the distress that I'm in. So she was able to hold her composure and get herself. And then my dad actually came, and my dad came to pick her up and drive her home, because she just was not in a place, because she literally was.
Did we go and get her car?
I drove her car home, I think, and y'all came and got my car. Or I drove his car. I think I drove his car and he drove her car. But the interesting thing is, in those moments, you see on movies when the person hears the news and it's like they have the ringing in the ears, and they're just like, well, it wasn't that. It was just thoughts going like, this can't be real. This isn't, like, going back and forth, talking with God, praising and worshiping and saying, God, I'm sad, but I don't want to be tore up out here in these streets, and praising and worshiping. And for me, it was also doing push-ups in the parking lot, and
to process, to just work it out of you.
Yes, because it was like, I have to do something, because I just feel so, like,
tense.
It wasn't even, it was tense, but it was just like, there's so much energy. There's so much, not even energy. There's
like pressure.
Pressure, yes.
Yeah.
Was so much pressure that it was like, I got to do something to release this pressure. But I'm praying, I'm asking God to help me, because the grief is so heavy. But it's not even like, it's more shock grief. Like, I was in shock more so than grief. And so that process went on. And so it was crazy, because when that happened, everything else got pushed to the side. Like, I was out of work. That was a Monday that it happened. I was off of work for the rest of the week. And it was so crazy, because it showed me.
It shows you where to place value.
Yes, it showed me where to place value, but it also showed me how people treat you. Because
then they say, oh, we can't give you bereavement or anything like that off. You have to use your personal vacation time because she's not your immediate family.
Yeah.
I recall.
And so it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah. And then you had to go to Albany to help.
With the
arrangement, the funeral arrangements and coordinating all that stuff. And I will say that you really did have to take on a lot. I think that you were helping to be really a support more than anything. And I feel like a lot of times stuff does fall on you, because it's like, people say check on the strong friends, because I do feel like a lot of times when things happen, you bear things well to a certain extent. And so because of that, people are like, okay, you help people feel like the pressure is not as heavy on them. And so when you're kind of sharing the weight, but I think sometimes you also take on the weight and don't feel like you have anybody to share it with, because you don't want to burden somebody else with your pressure.
Yes.
And so I feel like that was one thing that when that happened, it was like you never really, like after that for a while, probably whole Alaskan cruise, but for a while you kind of were bearing that weight. Because we went to Hawaii in what? March. And Hawaii was crazy. Like I don't even know how that was. We were in Hawaii, but it was, needless to say, and then we can get back to talking to the story, but realistically, because I want to circle it back to really where have we been?
Yeah.
Because after that happened, so many things, even though life was still progressing, life goes on, but it wasn't like normal.
No.
So we had our trip planned. It was my birthday trip from the previous year. You had planned, and so we were going in March. So we still had that on the books. But the reason I say how things can change you is I was just like, we're going on a vacation. I don't have the tickets. I don't have the tickets. I don't know what hotel we're staying in. I don't have the bookings. I don't know if the rental car is secured. I have no details, like really details. She had said, okay, this is the island we're going to, that kind of thing. But for the most part, and anybody who knows me knows, I'm like, what is the itinerary? What time are we showing up? What are your thoughts on these restaurants? She was sending me stuff like the week before, like, do you want to hit this restaurant? Do you want to go here? And I was like, that sounds good to me. Like, that sounds good to me. And I was just...
She was the most not caring ever. She was like, have you packed? No, I haven't really got nothing together. I guess I'll pack soon.
Yeah, I'll throw some pieces in the suitcase. And I'm like, that's so out of character. And so I'm thinking of back on that. And I didn't even connect the dots that those events had happened so closely to each other. And I think that it had a lasting effect. Because even to this day, like even when we were going to Alaska, I was like, are you guys packed? I was like, no. We're going on a trip this week. And I don't have anything in the suitcase. And I'm like... And I think it's sometimes you hit a point where you realize the degree of control you don't have.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't mean don't be intentional with what you have and don't be a good steward of what you've received. But it's also really, truly putting the right weight on things. Like we minimize things that are incredibly important. And then we magnify things that are minuscule at best. And it is like events like that happen and you realize, actually, no, this can kick rocks with no socks on. Actually, I'm going to leave early. Actually, you know what? I'll see you guys on Monday. You know, all of those different things. And again, I'm not saying that we haven't had dabbles in not having balance in certain areas.
Yeah.
But you can dive back into where you were. But I just wanted to kind of connect. That has really been, and it was something that when we would go to say, okay, we need to record again, it was just like, I don't feel it.
Yeah.
I don't feel up to it. I don't feel like pulling the mic out.
But I think that whole thing was a compounding because right before that, like in January, we hadn't really been doing anything, but I was just like feeling overwhelmed. And I'm not one to really ever really say that I'm feeling overwhelmed or I just don't feel like doing anything. But at that moment, I was like, I just can't. I don't want to. I was in school and it wasn't going well.
Yeah.
In the sense of I was doing the work. It wasn't getting approved. And I wasn't I wasn't progressing. Me and my chair couldn't come we couldn't come together. We couldn't come together. And I'm just sitting there. And so I tell Daddy, I think I need to take a semester off.
No, you said that after.
No, I said it before. I said, I need to take a semester off. And I was thinking it to myself. I need to take a semester off. I'm just not feeling it. And then when Cheryl passed, I was like, I really can't. I need to decompress. I need to get myself back together. Yeah. And then I can be able to fully engage in school and in life and all the things. And Daddy was like, nope, you can do it. Push through it. And I was like, I really can't. Like, y'all don't, this is me crying for help. and you aren't helping me. But I think it was necessary because sometimes you're like, I'm crying for help and this is what I need for my help.
Yeah.
But other people see and know that if you stop, if you wallow, if you won't get back up and you won't keep going.
Yeah.
And so Dad was like, no, you're going to keep going. You'll just keep going and push through. It didn't go well. And it didn't go well in the summer. And it got better in the summer, but it didn't go like I thought it was going to go in the summer because, again, life swung and hit us in the stomach again.
Swung and hit us in the stomach.
In the summer. So I was doing good. Like I had gotten back on track.
Yeah.
I was getting back.
You felt like you were getting back to yourself.
I was getting back to myself. I'm doing well in the gym. Like I had been doing so good in the gym, working out. I continued doing it. So this is the crazy thing. And this is what I realized about grief, which nobody really ever tells you. Like there are so many facets of what grief can do to you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So it was really hard to pray, but I was still praying, and but it was more so like, God help me. God help me, God help me, God help me, God help me. Then it was, I was gaining weight. Like I wasn't just eating like crazy. I wasn't even that hungry, but I was gaining weight. I was going to the gym every day. I mean, every week, pretty much every day of the week, 2 times a week with a trainer, and I was still gaining weight. And it was like, what is happening? Yeah. Like I am trying, and I feel terrible about myself. I'm like looking in the mirror, and I can see. I'm like, this is horrendous. Like, what is happening? So not only am I not having a good time in school, like school is weighing on me, I'm weighing on myself because the weight is coming on. And then still dealing with Aunt Cheryl's passing, but then there's other things associated with that are still ongoing to this day, that sometimes you just push to the back of your mind because you're like, I just really can't think about that because there's nothing that I can absolutely do in this situation. There's nothing that I know to do to help, and I know other people are taking on the burden of that, and it's like it's not going unnoticed. It's not going unrecognized, but there's not anything that I know to do. And so we're maneuvering through this, and we go on the vacation, and that seems like 2-3 years ago. Now, when I think back on going to Hawaii,
absolutely 3 years ago.
3 years ago, it seems like such a totally different time. Then we get into May during my birthday. I'm out of town. We out of town like all of May. Like pretty much, because we were in Nashville. Yes. Then we were in Texas.
I was in Texas this year?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes, I was. Yep.
We were in Texas, and then I think, did we go to Virginia or something like that?
You did.
I went to Virginia. Did I go to?
Or that was August, Carmen.
Oh. Yeah, I went to Virginia in August. It wasn't until
August. Okay, but I was like, I haven't been to Virginia this year. I know that much.
But we were other places, and it was just like we were traveling.
Didn't y'all go glamping this year?
Huh? No, that was last year. But we had gone on all these different things, and it was just like, so May was hard, but then we got into June, and June was good. It was like equilibrium hit, and it was like, okay, these things have happened. I'm starting to process different things. I'm like, just Lord, help me get back on track. He has been. My chair changed out at school, which was a good thing, and my new chair, we had a conversation. It was a blessing. Talk with him, got on track, everything starts falling in line. All of my projects and stuff are going through. I'm like, yes, I'm on track. I'll be graduating in the fall. fall semester, end of December. Bet. July.
Did you feel like July really hit you like that?
July hit me on July 5th. July was good. I started
the first 4 days.
The first 4 days, I'm fasting and praying and having a good old time in July. Then July 5th hit and it hit like a truck.
What happened?
Punched me in the stomach.
No, you have to explain this. Your time leading up to July 5th. Ashley already has explained.
I did. What happened to me leading up to July 5th?
Yeah.
We went to the trip. Mm-hmm. We went to Hawaii. We apparently were traveling a lot in May. I'm going to be really honest. I'm still trying to get my bearings a little bit this year in general. And it's almost like off-putting because the thing about Aunt Cheryl's passing was that is like, I have to tell myself that really happened.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that really happened. And you know stuff is real.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. But it seems so outlandish that you're just like, that kind of feels like it maybe didn't happen. Like, it's like that. So I'm come to terms with the fact. So it's not like I'm in denial.
Yeah.
Like I was that day. Because I literally told Troy, he was like, this is what happened. I was like, no. And I literally left the room. I was like, no. And so.
And is that why you told me what you told me?
Maybe. I was like, no. And then he was like, and then he came back and he was like, okay. And so then I was like, okay, this is what has actually happened. He explained to me in more depth. And I was like, okay. I was like, get on the call, see if you can reach someone to get her on the phone. Like, I'm telling you, like, I'm like.
Because I had to tell Aunt Frankie.
Oh, did you?
Yes. I didn't tell her explicitly what happened. I just said, hey, you need to get in contact with the people at Aunt Cheryl's house. There's some people over there. I'm trying to get in contact with mommy and daddy. Like,
yeah.
But I was the one that kind of had to, like, let
yeah,
her
you
know.
were definitely facilitating the communication because it really started with him in this area. Like Aunt Deborah received the first call.
Yeah.
So I know that she took on a lot in that.
Yes.
And so that in and of itself is a lot. So that was really put on her, and not even that was a take on kind of thing. And so
it was put on me.
Yeah, and then when he told, and he still disseminated, and then I was like, okay, she's taking care of that. She's going to go down to Albany, handle the responsibilities.
And she was there for like a whole day by herself, and then I ended up coming back up with her the next day.
Yeah, you drove back here, grabbed some stuff, and then y'all both went back, and he went with you. So you had a little bit of a companion. So you were there alone, really in support. Mommy and Daddy were with you, but you were not from a children's perspective. And so then I'm like, okay, this is what's going on. So I'm, keeping it moving. Like normal things are happening, but like you know what's happening, but it doesn't mean that it's out of sight, out of mind. But you can compartmentalize when something is not in front of you. And so I was like, okay, this is something that is happening, but I'm still going to keep my focus on the things that I need to accomplish, get things done. A, B, C still occurring. So that was the thing that was different about when Mom Weary had passed away, because when she passed away, I was like, God is so good. He had me on that. So, so when Cheryl went, I was like, oh Lord. I was like, oh my gosh, so that threw me for a loop. We went to Hawaii while I was just like, basically a camisole and some shorts and a suitcase. Like it wasn't that bad, but that was essentially the energy I was giving of how I was prepared. And so I'm like, okay, so that was March. April, I don't know what happened. Like, I don't really know. May, and then at work, like for me at work, it was like at every turn, they're always talking about layoffs. They're always talking about they're cutting the workforce. They're always getting rid of somebody. And so one of my coworkers that told me, she was like, well, if you stay in account management, they don't really have like a lot of turnover in that capacity because you're driving growth.
Yeah.
And so because it's like sales, it's in relation to sales, you aren't really going to be impacted when those kind of changes come. And I wasn't really concerned about it anyway, but that was something that she said. And I was like, okay. And so they were having all these changes. And I'm like, look, I just want to be able to grow enough so that the people that are getting laid off or the people that are on hiatus or whatever can come back, furlough, whatever that is. That was my heart's desire in that capacity. So those things were happening like in that same time frame. May comes. We apparently traveled. Like I said, we went to the CC Winans conference, which we always have a good time at that. Rachel, we were not going to go. I was like, I'm not going to go. And Rachel was like, I think we should go in person. Like, we should just go on site. And since she said it, I was like, Rachel doesn't really ask for like anything in that regard. So I was like, yeah, we can go. So we went to that and we had a good time. And then we went to Texas for your birthday. Well, you were going to be there, so we went so you wouldn't be alone on your birthday. And then I don't remember doing any other trips. We might have, but I don't remember doing that. June happens. We probably went somewhere, but I don't think so. I was like, I'm just a girl staying at home for the first, in the first time in weeks, loving every minute of it. July, my birthday's coming up, so I'm hitting the big 3-0, you guys. I said, who is she? Who is she? So I'm turning 30. And honestly, I have been so excited. I have been saying it for so long. I was like, I really feel like, because everybody that I ever talked to that was in their 30s or had passed their 30s, they would always like, when you turn 30, they would say, when I turned 30, there was a change that happened within me. Like, I cared about things differently. Like, the way that I viewed the world was different, is what they said. And I was like, that sounds beautiful. Like, I was like, I'm not dreading aging in this way. Like, people always like, I'm getting out of my 20s. But I was like, the 20s have served me well. I feel like 30s is something different and new. And so I was looking forward to it. The day started approaching, I was like, wait a minute, what have I done with my life? Like, wait a minute, I'm already hit 30. I'm just a girl. I don't have anything to show in the 20s. That kind of thing. When I was like, you know what, Lord, I'm going to keep the excitement that I had. Whatever feelings are trying to come, I'm not going to allow those thoughts to try to attack the joy and peace that I had leading up to this. So we're going to it. Apparently, Ashley was fasting and praying. I was not. I don't think I was. I wasn't. I was in a good spot. So my birthday comes. And so my birthday is July 5th. So everybody knows it's right after July 4th, which means everybody's mind already has been on July 4th. You done barbecued and did everything. By the time you get to the 5th, people are like, the party's over. That's kind of how July 5th is. So we had planned like a whole agenda of activities planned for my birthday. Like, Troy was going to do some stuff with me. He was like, I'm taking you to these places. We're going to hit all these stuff. So we had a whole list. Well, maybe on the 1st or 2nd, my parents were like, we're doing a yard sale on Saturday. So my birthday.
The whole summer they've been talking about doing this doggone yard sale. And it never comes to fruition. It rains. I'm not feeling it. I got to go do this. And everything. So they never having this yard sale. When they said they were going to do the yard sale, I said, what? Ashley will not be out at the yard sale. She will not be assisting with the yard sale. All those pieces can go to Goodwill. That was what I said about that doggone yard sale.
That was her sentiment. Well, come the 5th, they're like, we're having this yard sale. We are having it. Come on out and help us.
But it wasn't even that. We said you need to do the yard sale early.
But yeah, earlier in the day before it gets warm out. So I mean, July is the heat of the summer in Georgia.
And if anybody knows anything about yard sale people who go to yard sales or antique sales or anything, they like to do it early in the morning from 8 to about 11. That is your
peak
like
window.
Sweet spot.
Well, that didn't happen. So it was like 11 o'clock. They were like, let's go ahead and pull the stuff out at 11. And so
it was. I'll give them this. It was a little bit earlier than that. It was like
10:45.
9 a.m. They started kind of getting out there
but a lot of the pieces were larger, so they needed manpower to be able to pull that stuff out of the garage. So we start pulling the stuff out of the garage, and they're like, "Come on and help us." And so the Lord is really
so gracious.
He's so gracious. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Every single major milestone birthday that I've ever had, something has always happened. That it was like, I'm like at a funeral or something. Like, it has always been. When I turned 21, I was in attendance at a funeral. When I turned 25, some others, like, it was like those kind of things. Turned 20, from teens to 20s, something happened. Mm-hmm. So, those major milestone birthdays, the Lord's like, it is a day. Do not glorify the day. You know what I mean? In that regard, it's like, I gave you another year. Be grateful about all of those different things, but it's not about you as the person whose birthday it is. And some people just love their birthdays, and I get it. Mm-hmm. But I've learned over time that that's not how I need to be operating. Mm-hmm. So we come out there. So all of our morning plans are scrapped. They're squandered. They're ruined. We are now having a yard sale. So we're dragging all of the pieces out, setting them out how they want them to be set.
It's hot.
It's warm. It is warm.
Hot.
So once we finish pulling everything out for the yard sale and helping prep all of that stuff,
we go shower.
We go ahead and take a shower because we can't go anywhere after this. It is the peak heat of July summers in Georgia. So we are like, okay, let's go ahead and head out and do at least partial of what we planned. We can't go all the places because we still have to get back for my birthday dinner. And so we're like, okay, we'll just do whatever. So we go out, we have a little minute, we have a sit down, we have some good conversation.
Because we go to
the furniture store. Because I love furniture stores. Like, I love when you walk into a furniture store and that cold air hits you in the summer. I love it. So I'm not buying anything, but I love it. And so we go in. And so we're sitting down on the furniture inside the store, and we're just talking like it's our own living room. We're just having a blast. So we have some really good conversations about where our hearts were in relation to the yard sale. Mm-hmm. And some other things that have been happening. I don't know. I think we talked a little bit about Aunt Cheryl and some of those things. Mm-hmm. And a lot of things that were left unsettled in the wake of her passing. And so we just had a really, really good conversation. Me, Ashley, and Troy. I don't know where Rachel was.
She was at home making your cake, I think.
Oh, okay. She was making my cake. And then, so we, like I said, we had some good conversation. And so then, like, okay, let's head home. Mm-hmm. So we go home. So we can get everything together for my dinner. And so I'm like, okay, getting ready for my birthday dinner. Well, Paul, our other brother, mm-hmm. comes to my birthday. He has not been at anybody's birthday for maybe 5 years. Maybe, give or take. I know he hadn't been at my birthday in about 3, 4, 5 years.
He might come on. He might do. I think he was at my 30th.
Girl, you're 35. That's 5 years ago.
I know. He was at my 30th. That's what I'm saying.
But he was here for his birthday. His birthday's 2 weeks before my birthday.
Yeah.
So he was here 2 weeks before that. And so I'm like, okay, he's just back again, which again is uncommon for him because he lives an hour and a half away. He doesn't drive up all of the time. So it was he doesn't drive up all the time. Mm-hmm. So we hadn't seen him. And so I was like, okay, so he was here on his birthday. We did a little mini birthday celebration for him that day. He comes to my birthday. I'm like, okay. He gave me a card for my birthday. I have not received a gift from him in probably 10, 15 years maybe. And so I was like, I didn't think anything of it. I said, okay, that's really nice. Because again, I don't go into an expectance that someone's going to give me something. Yeah. So I was like, wow, that's really kind of you. I didn't expect to receive anything. So thank you. So I read the card. It's a general card in there. And then, so we're fellowship and all that stuff. I get my other gifts. I got some good stuff that I really like. What did you give me?
We still got to order your shoes, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Troy gave me some stuff I wanted. I don't remember what Ashley gave me, but it was something good, I'm sure. Rachel made my cake. And so we did like a family celebration. All those things. Well, we have a good time. We fellowship and laughing, whatever. Well, it gets late. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go on and head up to bed.
I gave you the apron. No, I gave you the apron.
You gave me that as a random day gift. Yeah, she's really sweet. She'll give like random day gifts. I mentioned in passing When we were in Houston.
Yes, that's what.
We had gone to Texas, another part of Texas. And I had mentioned, I was like, I love these kind of aprons. I'm digressing from the story, but I mentioned I love these kind of aprons. And she was like, oh, okay. I didn't know you like those kind of things. And then like a couple days later, she said, oh, I got you something. And it was exactly like the aprons that I said I liked. So she literally ordered that for me. So I was like, oh my gosh, I feel seen. And so then, but anyway, I digress. So she does give regular day gifts as well as birthday gifts. And so he is at my birthday party. So I go upstairs and there's another like gift on my bed.
A gift bag.
There's a gift bag on my bed. And so I'm like, okay. So I opened it up.
I don't like things on your bed either.
Again, it was clearly not about me. So, so I was like, okay. So I pulled the stuff out of the thing. I pulled the paper out. I would dig inside. There's some onesies in there. And I'm thinking, is this a joke because I'm 30 and somebody's saying you're no longer youthful? Maybe it's something like that. I'm trying to, figure out the joke, the punchline. Then there's a sonogram. And I'm like, is this an April Fool's joke? Because I don't know anyone who's conqueso. That's what I say for pregnant. And then I said, okay. And I said, then it hits me. I get it. He's revealing that he has a pregnancy to announce. On my 30th birthday, he's telling me, without telling me, that he has a pregnancy to announce. So I say, Ashley, come here. I said, come here. She's like, what? I said, look in that bag. So she's like, she digs the bag out and she's like, oh my gosh. She looks at it, she reads the sonogram, and she's like, now mind you, I don't do stuff with baby stuff. Like when everybody who I've known who's had children, I've come to the shower, I will, give a gift, whatever. When their baby's neck holds itself up is when I will visit. Those kinds of things are the kind of friends that I, in the season of life that I'm in and my friends are in. And so I'm like, so I don't even read the name on the sonogram. So I don't know whose baby this is. All I know is that Paul is revealing that he has a child on the way. That's all I know. I don't know who the baby's mother is. I don't know anything about this. So I'm like, so then I said, you know what? So I text him. I'm like, come to my room to talk to me. And so.
But I also was in there before he even came up there to talk with y'all. Because I came in after Ashley came in.
Yeah, I was telling everybody. I was like, come on in. I'm like, Troy, come here.
And then I
look at that gift bag.
Before she even opened the gift bag, I already knew what it was.
Before I told you to open the gift bag.
I said, I know what this is. Because like Ashley, I had also been fasting that week. I didn't know what in preparation for. But I was like, it really is good. I was thinking it was for some other things.
Yeah.
But
isn't it crazy how you think you're doing for one thing and you're like, surprise.
Yeah. So I get in there and then I knew what it was.
Yeah.
But I do believe that was for that. God had me fasted. But you know how normally you are just, I think that day showed me a lot of things that I had been holding in. And so like maybe the fasting was supposed to get me out of me. Get the junk cleared out of me so it was less of me and more of him. But I think on that day, some of me was coming out. A lot of me was coming out. Because my frustrations with the yard sale was heavy.
Yeah, I was like, it's
your birthday. Because I just felt like it was inconsiderate. Like, I hate inconsiderate things.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, and especially, you know how I am about plans. So if I have in my mind how something is supposed to go, and you have been so considerate with all of our birthdays, especially our milestone birthdays. And so I wanted it to make it one of the best days for you. And so I was like, okay, I just really want this to go well and to be well, because I want her to enjoy this. And it was just like hit after hit after hit. But I think it was also for me was expectation.
Yeah.
Like God was dealing with me about my expectations. It was also in my frustration of being obedient and submitted to the people that you like, our parents, as well as to God, because that was a really hard thing with that yard sale.
Yeah. I will be honest. I was salty about the yard sale as well, but not for those reasons.
But no, because it was like we could have not had that. Like them things could have been gone years ago.
There's a lot of things about that I am not going to say on this Candid podcast because they're in process.
Yes,
they're in process within me in a way that I can't say. Like I need to be at a place before, because I haven't even said things to you.
I know.
So because of that, I know that I was also salty, but it had nothing to do with my birthday.
Yes, but that was for me. Like I was dealing with that, so it was a lot of. And I think grief was playing a part in that as well, because it's like we don't. It was a lot, and so I was feeling overwhelmed still.
Yes,
and so that was overwhelming to me. I think that
it was additional weight.
It was an overwhelming. Like I'm getting myself back together, and now you're overwhelming me with this stuff that I have put in my past.
I drove away from that.
Yeah,
why is it still here?
Yeah. Go ahead, Troy.
But no, I also think that you were also taking on a lot of things that happened with this big announcement happening on Carmen's birthday, and then it also leading back to things that were happening even at Aunt Cheryl's funeral too.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? I totally forgot about that. Oh my gosh, I sure did. Yes, and I'm gonna be honest. Because when I told Troy, he was like, "Are you gonna be really honest about this and how you were feeling about stuff?" I said, "If we talk about it, we're talking about it."
Yeah.
Because again, I am at the place where I feel like I have historically felt shame on other people's behalf. Yeah. Like I don't want to make you look bad or you seem like you were in error or whatever. I think you can respect people's privacy. Yeah. I think you can respect people's boundaries. But if I'm in bondage to your wrongdoing, then I'm the victim.
Yes.
And I'm putting myself in a place of in a victim's placement and mentality for stuff that is, we're free indeed.
Yeah.
I should be able to operate in the liberty that the Lord Jesus Christ died for me to have.
Yeah.
So if I'm not living like that, then that's a problem. And so when I got the gift bag on my bed, on my birthday, I felt like I was slapped in the face.
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't about the birthday, because when I say I don't be caring about that kind of stuff, I think it's great. I love when people do heartfelt things for me. I really do. But in that regard, I'm like, your birthday really is another day. And again, that constant reminder that has happened over years that you need to be in practice of that. But when I came in and I saw that, I was like, you don't care about me. You don't care about me. Because this isn't something to be mad about. For starters, if somebody, look, we're saying this like the audience has the context. He's unwed. Like, let me just put that out there if people don't know, because it seems like we're bitter over something like, he stole my thunder at my wedding. You know, when people get engaged at people's weddings?
Yeah.
He's unwed. So he doesn't have a wife. And he revealed to us that he has a child on the way. He previously told us that he was engaged to somebody. But then moments later, and I mean moments, it was weeks, months, whatever, but sometime later, he said they were no longer together. He revealed that. I don't know when we found that. Maybe it was his birthday he said it. I don't know. 2 weeks prior to my birthday, he may have said, I don't know when we found out, but he said they weren't together anymore. So when I see this ultrasound in onesies in a bag, I'm thinking, I don't know whose baby this is. I don't, you know what I think? That's my thought. I don't know whose baby this is, because you told me you were single.
Yeah.
Now, if you had been in a relationship with the girl, I would have thought, okay, this is y'all's baby together. I can't even connect those dots because I don't know the relationship that you have. So, one, I was really, really upset. I was upset. But I felt betrayed. So I was upset. I was like, because I was even venting to one of our friends the week following, I was like, girl, and she gently got me told, in a loving way, because she was like, look, you need to be praying that the fruit of the Spirit will manifest in these people's lives. When they're doing things that are selfish or not glorifying to the Lord, you need to be in prayer, because you can see, it can be frustrating to you, but you can see that obviously they're not walking in a way that is bearing the fruit of the Spirit. So you know that they're not being led by the Spirit in the actions that they're taking. And so when she said that, I was like, wow, girl, you're right. I need to be in prayer about this situation, because when I get the little gift back on the bed, I wasn't mad about because again, children are a heritage of the Lord. The fruit of the womb is his reward. That is what the Bible says.
Yes.
So if I'm saying the basis of my life is that it's the Bible, and I believe that that is the truth, then I believe that's true. Now, again, the Lord has said how he would like things to go. People have situations. Mistakes happen. Things happen.
Yeah.
I can't sit over here on a high horse
No.
as a never sinned individual. He without sin cast the first stone. So I know I'm living in a glass house. I can't afford to have someone start throwing rocks my way. And I can't afford to be throwing rocks at anybody else. Mm-hmm. But when that situation happened, I was like, okay, why am I upset? Why am I upset? And I really had a conversation with him. Because I wouldn't say this if I hadn't had this conversation with him. And you were there. Mm-hmm. I was like, you didn't tell me because you wanted me to be able to rejoice, to say that this was something that we're celebrating the fact, okay, not how things happen, but celebrating the fact that children are a heritage of the Lord. The fruit of the womb is his reward. I'm not being able to rejoice in that regard because you didn't tell me so I could rejoice like that. You told me to absolve yourself. You told me because you wanted me to bear the weight of having to tell everybody else. You told me because you wanted me to take responsibility for your actions. Mm-hmm. And I have been doing that for years.
Yeah.
And I was mad. I said, no, she's 30. She's letting the former things pass away. So I went ahead and I let it slip. And I was happy that I did. I said, you are telling me this, not because you were here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You didn't get this information because, again, we know the timeline of events. Oh, girl, the baby, what's the baby birthday?
September 15th.
Exactly. My birthday was July. How many months is in between that?
A month and a half.
Do the calculations. She's basically in the 3rd trimester when we're getting the notification that she is pregnant in the first place. So we don't know anything. So the poor young lady that can be so isolating. Yeah. The fact that you feel like you're essentially carrying as someone's shame. Yeah. That they're concealing you. They're concealing the thing that you're happy about.
Yes.
The thing that you're celebrating in and rejoicing in. You don't get to share that with the father of your child's family because you're being held in secrecy. So already there's a disconnect and there's destruction and there's, again, shame.
Yeah.
And the way that it's being presented.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay. So I say, look, you didn't tell me because you wanted me to be happy, because I had said years ago, I was like, I want to be a young aunt. I was like, y'all need to go ahead and get married, have kids so I can be a young aunt. That was my dream. Troy had been vocal that he wanted to be a young uncle. Mm-hmm. He was like, this is my dream. You didn't tell me to say on your 30th birthday, you were a little older than you planned, and things didn't go the way that we maybe imagined. But this is something that I want you to be able to say. You are going to be a young aunt. You didn't tell me for it to be a joyous occasion. You told me because you wanted me to tell Ashley, Troy, Rachel, our parents, so that you didn't have to bear the responsibility of your actions. I said, look, and this was I'm telling y'all, I was 30 years strong, because I'm usually the person who's like, wow. Now, obviously, I was able to share in a way. And I was like, Lord, please temper me, because I don't want to say something that, again, because this is a vulnerable situation. I understand that the situation is not ideal. And because you were raised in a household where your parents were staunchly in the Word and staunchly about the Bible, the fear and trepidation to be able to tell them something that you believe will be disappointing to them I understand for little things. Like, I didn't have to say that as my reveal.
Yeah.
So the fact that you have to push yourself to just to say, well, my feelings were hurt by the sin that that I did or whatever, to just reveal in that way something like that. So something that feels massive, to be able to share that, I understand that it can be hard. But I also had to be at a place, and this is really, look, I'm a woman. I can't tell any man how to be a man.
Yes.
Like, I don't have in my repertoire. I can't. I can say, according to the word, this is how a man lives. Now, according to the word of God, these are the characteristics of somebody who is a righteous man. Now, I can say the examples that have been set forth before me. This is how I've seen righteous men live. This is how I've seen men who have good character live. I can say that. But I can't say, in the plight of a man, this is how it feels. These are the challenges and hardships that I personally have experienced. I don't have that. I can't speak from that perspective. So there's a degree of distance and there is a degree of grace that I have to have when I say things of this nature. But me and you got to be men. Like, you got to be men. Because the righteous men that I know, the men that handle their responsibilities that I know, the Bible that I read that has the characteristics of men that are living their lives to glorify the Lord. And this is not about men that are living in the world. Because if you are living in the world, you do what the world says. You are an unbeliever. Unbelieve. That's what you do. But if you are saying that you are a man that lives a life that is under submission to God, because that is what it means when you are a Christian. You are submitting your life to God. You have replaced yourself with Christ.
Yeah.
You're putting him before everything else in your life. You're saying, I'm submitted to him. If that is the truth and you truly believe that, live like it. Men take responsibility for what they do. Men who believe in God, they do what the Lord tells them to do.
Yeah.
They don't slap Jesus on the front of their mess.
And even when they do
when
wrong.
When they do wrong.
David.
Think about David. Girl, we were one accord. David literally, he did a whole bunch of raggedy. He got somebody pregnant. That wasn't his wife. He was the king. He got her husband murdered to cover it up. The baby died. He made all of these choices. He did all of these things. And when it came time for him to bear the consequences of it, he took it on the chin. He was like, I've been wrong. I didn't do right. I see the error in my ways. I did the bad thing. I'm acknowledging it. Lord, forgive me. I'm turning away from it. But to put the responsibility, that would be like him telling Bathsheba, she needs to go out there, tell everybody that she's pregnant. She needs to go and reveal to everyone the shortcomings that she had, all the events that happened the previous night. She needs to take ownership for what happened. He took responsibility for his actions. That's what the Bible says. So I literally was telling him, I'm like, look, either you are or you're not. And that's where I'm at. And I'm like, Lord, help me. Because I can't be in judgment because the Lord is convicting me. Either you are or you're not.
Yeah.
Everybody has to be fully persuaded in their thing. Because everybody's issue isn't everybody's issue.
Yeah.
You got a problem with fornicating. You got a problem with lying. You got a problem with stealing. You have covetousness. You have pride. Everybody's got their own stuff. Are you submitting it to the Lord so that he is guiding you and ordering your steps, the Lord of your life, so that you are living a life that is pleasing and glorifying to him? If you are not, why are you a Christian? Why?
Yeah.
Why? So we went back and we had a conversation. He was pretty much silent during the whole thing. I told him, look, I feel like you were raggedy. You blindsided me and you did it in a selfish way because you wanted me to take responsibility and cover for you. Because I've covered for you for years. Because I don't want you to get in trouble. I want to shield you from the pain of this world. I don't want you to have the hardship. Like, y'all don't know the half of the stuff that I had done. The half of the stuff y'all have done and haven't shared with me. So we all are covering.
Yeah.
I said covering hasn't helped anybody. The veil was torn. So we can have liberty. So we can see the truth. Why are we covering our eyes and pretending that stuff is not happening?